Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today because we are talking with another director. We love talking to directors. And today we have Heather Hawthorn-Doyle on the podcast. And Heather, we're so excited to have you on.
Rachel, I'm so excited to be on. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, we have been a big fan of yours for a long time. We kept seeing your name come up on all these different projects. And we're like, and we just hadn't had you on. And so I'm so glad to finally get you on.
Yeah, it's exciting. So thank you. I'm glad the timing worked out for both of us.
Yes. So this is your first time on the podcast. So why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners and tell us a little bit about how you got started in your path to directing?
Awesome. So I am a born and bred director. Like I love directing so much, it's crazy. But I also am a mom, and that was
Uh-huh.
always the very first thing I wanted to do. And so I had this path where I went to school to be a director. Even when I was a little kid, I was always making up plays and directing them and starring them and having friends do them, and we would go classroom to classroom. So
Oh.
I've
So
loved
did
it
you go to
forever.
film school then?
So I did eventually, like first I thought I was going to be an actor, so I went to acting school, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to be a writer, and then eventually I went to a school that was like a technical vocation school. So
Okay.
it taught it was a post-secondary school, and I got a degree in television production. And so I actually got my start as a multi-camera director. So I
Oh.
directed variety shows and comedy shows and music shows and sporting events.
Uh-huh. Did you
And
grow up
then
in Vancouver?
so I grew up in Montreal and Toronto, and
Okay.
then I've always done most of my work. I've done a little bit of work in Montreal. I've done most of my work between Vancouver and Toronto.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you have early films that were especially influential to you?
Like when we were kids, we would go and see Saturday matinees all the time. We lived in a small two-bedroom apartment with my mom and dad and me and my brother. And so, I think it was their chance to get us out of
Yeah.
the apartment for a little while. So I remember seeing Poseidon Adventure made a big
Oh.
thing, and
Uh-huh.
Jaws was amazing. And just all these big feature films just
Uh-huh.
changed my life. I just
Yeah.
love them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something else to see, especially Jaws on the big screen. It's just a really fun experience.
Yeah. And it holds up. I remember watching it with my
Yeah,
kids going,
yeah,
my
it
goodness. And
does.
they're like, ah, yeah.
So I saw on your IMDb that you had done a couple different seasons of Love It or List It.
Yes.
So
So, yeah.
yeah, I'm very curious about what's that like like directing that kind of, I guess, reality show kind of a thing.
Yeah, so it's what we call unscripted, or sometimes we'll say semi-scripted.
Uh-huh.
Um, because we don't know many things. When you're directing it, you literally don't know what their answer is going to be. Like that's very true, very honest, but you know a little bit about them. And so you're definitely steering them to the type of houses they would buy, and you're steering to the type of design that is going to make a difference and make them stay there. So
Uh-huh.
that's why, and we never tell them what to say. You just have an idea a little bit of how the story's probably going to go, and then you just listen to what they say in real life, and then you just enhance it as
Yeah.
much as you can to make it as exciting as you can.
Are there like dirty secrets behind the scenes of like, oh, we're gonna put all the not as nice stuff in like a corner. We're not gonna show that part, or like what's some of the like things, oh, that would surprise you about these
I mean,
especially
here's
these
what's
big reveals that they have.
Yes, I mean, here's what's really fascinating is every time I have a friend who then does any kind of a home renovation,
Yeah.
I tell them, here are the big things you're going to find, because literally we found this on almost every single home. So you're going to find that you either have old copper piping or you have bad wire. There is something in the infrastructure if your house is old. 100% for sure you're going to have to replace it. Like it's just what it is. Often you're going to find critters. The amount of critters in homes
Oh
would
man.
stun people. And I'll never forget this one lady, like literally none of this, like this is what we found. We go into their little girl's room, and of course she's got, clothes on the bottom of her closet, as you do when you're a little girl, you're not putting stuff
Yeah.
away. And then I was like, what am I seeing in here? Brought the camera in, and because I was just seeing little somethings, we go up into it, and there they had mice,
Oh my
and we
gosh.
brought the mom in, and she was, and the dad too. They were just flabbergasted that their little girl was literally kind of sleeping with mice.
That's nightmare fuel going on
Gross.
there.
I mean, great television, horrible real life.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh
kind of
my
what it is.
gosh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that'll do it for you.
Yeah.
But would you say that you think that it is pretty like that it is pretty authentically captured as far as like the responses and the like things like we should sort of be like, okay, we can trust what we see for the most part
Yeah, if
and those
anything,
kinds of
sure.
things.
Is it slightly enhanced? Sometimes, yes, but it
Yeah.
sticks to what is true. And
Uh-huh.
so sometimes you would say to somebody, you know they're not going to move maybe, or you really feel that nothing could make the move. So you just kind of say, you know, don't 100% go in real life, am I going to move right now?
Yeah.
Instead, go, if all things were equal, if you weren't in the school district that you want to be in for the next 5 years, right? Like if that
Yeah.
wasn't a thing, if you weren't at the school that you thought was the greatest school ever, just take a look at the houses he found for you and the design you have. What's your honest answer? Forget school. What's your honest answer of what you would do? So it's very much real, and whatever they say is what we do. We don't know in advance. We just do it. But you do kind of make sure that they're making it a level playing field so that the listed
Yeah.
has somewhat of a chance to go, because that's a big deal to list your house. And people have done it. People have listed their house in real life multiple times. What's funny is I'll often find when you see the listing, they'll say, been decorated by Love It or List It. Come buy
Right.
our house.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. Why? I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As featured on Love It or List It.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's fun. People have a great time. And one of the things we talk about too is it's a moment in time for people with kids. Like I was saying, the reason I started doing this sort of unscripted or, this kind of storytelling as opposed to the narrative in movies, which I love so much, is when my kids were little, you had a little more freedom of what hours you worked and stuff like that. And that was important to me because I wanted to be around my boys as much as I could. And so when people come on the show, we're filming their kids when they're 5 and 7, and the show will run forever. So you get to see your little kids. It's a beautiful slice of life.
Yeah. Well, so when you started doing these sweet rom-coms, like what was that like for you? Would you say you're a rom-com fan?
Yeah. So what was funny is so my kids got older, as apparently children do, which is amazing. And I was, finally at the place where they, didn't need me 100% of the time. Like they were becoming adults. And so I was like, I can do anything I want to do, what I want to do. And I've always loved narrative storytelling, and I love stories about relationships, and I love stories with heart that make you feel. And I remember literally saying, I'm how does Hallmark not know about me? I'm perfect for Hallmark. Like
Yeah.
I used to buy like, books, and I'd call them candy books whenever I flew, because you can like eat them really quickly.
Yeah,
Eat
yeah,
them
yeah.
really quickly. And so and I love a feel good story. I love a story that's grounded but makes you want to call your mom at the end of it, or makes you want to call your kids at the end of it. So I always felt that, yeah, I was, and I loved like, You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle and all the really, big sort of rom-coms. I always loved that. And so I love the Hallmark shows. And I was just like, come on, Hallmark, let
Yeah.
me work with you. And
So
then
what was
they
that
did.
like when you got your first one? How did that all happen?
It was amazing. So I had just finished observing on a television show in Toronto, because I just want to make sure that I know all the different things that happen in this kind of world, because it is different than the unscripted. And I got my first ever movie, which wasn't a direct to Hallmark. It was one of those that kind of
The
gets there
purchase.
as an acquisition
Yeah.
eventually and stuff like that. And so I ended up doing that one, went really well. And then I got like 3 more immediately. And what's funny about that one is the 2 stars are Jocelyn Hewden, who's now starring in Chicago Fire as one of the paramedics, and Jake Foy, who was on Ride and on First Season of Chicken Sisters and on so many other big shows. So both of those guys have done so well. So I'm so proud of them. But I did sort of 3 or 4 of those acquisitions super fast. And then I got my first Hallmark. And I think it was because they had seen the production company, met me. They liked me. They were phenomenal people. Kim Arnott and Two for the Money. And they said, hey, we'd like to work with Heather. Hallmark, are you okay with that? And I think they gave a few names, and Hallmark was like, yeah, let's give her a shot. And I
Yeah.
was like, yay, Hallmark.
For these Christmas movies, it must be amazing to see like these winter wonderlands like unfold overnight,
Yes, and
especially in the summer.
especially in the summer. I've gotten to shoot a Christmas movie once in February up in the interior in British Columbia, and we got actual snow for a lot of it, and we got a blizzard for one tiny little scene. Greatest
Oh
moment
my
of my life.
gosh. Yeah.
Other than that, yes, and the first couple were Godwink movies, and so Godwink movies always had a Christmas theme to them, so it was pretty wonderful to do those.
Yeah. What's it like shooting sort of a more emotional scene in one of these like God Winks or something like that?
Yeah.
What's that like in working with the actors?
Yeah, it's great because, the actors on these Hallmark movies care. Like,
Mhm.
there's not a soul who doesn't really want to bring the best that they are and work hard together. And, it's fun talking through characters and seeing what they do. And as a director, it's like you have the actors back. So you want to make sure my first thing is first take is whatever the actor brings. What have they prepped? What do they want to bring to it? What's that like? And then I might give a suggestion or two before the second take. And then it's what can we do together to try to elevate it to make it even more great? Although sometimes, yeah, you say nothing because
Mhm.
it's already amazing. But sometimes,
Yeah.
even if it's great, you're going to say something to just see if there's a different path. Is there something else we can bring to it? And then sometimes you go, no, that first take was great. Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Because, well, and you have to do the different coverage too, don't you?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's something that I'm playing with the more experience that I get. Like I think when I first started, I was like covering everything. Gonna do the close up here and the 2-shot here and the close up there and then over the shoulder here. And
Yeah.
I think as I grow as a director, I really the visual part of storytelling is super exciting. And so it's like, can you tell the story using less shots, but still making sure that every shot is there on purpose? That there's a reason why you go super tight or this tight or over my shoulder to you in a connection. What's the reason behind each of these shots? That's another part of the
Yeah.
storytelling that's exciting to bring it.
So what is it like working with all of the different key players of the film? I kind of think of the director and the producer as well, but as sort of the CEO of the movie. It's like you got to work with your editor, you got to work with your director of photography, all these different pieces to kind of make it all come together.
Yeah, and you're right. It is the producer as well. But as the director, when you're shooting it, it really is like I usually will say this at the beginning of a shoot, and I'll say something about, I'm good at what I do, y'all are good at what you do, but together we can be pretty magical. Like, you can be better when you work with really good people and you all work together to make it as good as it can be, to really push it to something special. So that's fun. It's a little bit of like, I did some baseball coaching when I was when my older son was younger. It's a little bit like that too. It's a little bit like coaching. It's really, what are the different pieces and how do you bring them together so that everybody is as good as they can be, including myself. But it helps because when you're working with the director of photography, you're really looking again at what's that visual storytelling. And like, I love like big wide shots sometimes, and just show the world is kind of fun. Got to be careful if you're shooting a Christmas movie. Can't show that much of the world in August, to be clear.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, so you've had I think some different ones that were interesting. Like, so for #Xmas, like, did you feel like this one was a little bit more experimental, a little more meta from Hallmark? Yeah.
100%, and had a stronger comedy beat to it.
Yes.
And so we leaned into all of that. And, it really is, dealing with social media and what's that like and what's the truth behind social media. And you can have a little bit of fun with that, but we also tried to stay somewhat grounded. Although there was one time, that I just wanted her to scream like crazy. And so, we did get that scream. And then our creative exec producer was like, yeah, you need to also get a less big scream because I'm not sure they're going to love the big scream. And I'm like, oh, but I love the big scream. And he's like, yeah, you need to get a less big scream. And that's what went on TV, was the less big scream.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
So I thank him for that. Yeah. I thank him. I mean, that's what I mean by everybody works together. Like, what a good creative producer to make sure that I got the less big scream. So it was one that we played. And, we had a little 22-month-old baby in it too. Actually, he was younger. He must have been maybe 18 months old. And he was it was so fun. I love working with kids. Like, I just adore working with children. And we got this thing where the mom would hand the baby to me. Then I would kind of like get him into it. We would do the slate, be recording. And then at the very last second, I then handed him over and said action as I handed him over. And he was phenomenal in everything he did. It was like such a good little boy.
You're like dream baby.
Dream baby. And like one time we even passed him through a window. Like, it's one of my favorite shots. It's like when we remember that. And it was in the script. So I love good script writers. It was in the script and they passed them from inside to outside. So as we were doing location hunting before we did the film, I was like, we have to find a window that this will work because it's such a good beat. And we literally, and our lead said something about, just to be clear, the moment we lost all hope was when I passed my baby through the window to you guys. And they did. So it was great.
Well, for Make Me a Match, I was really surprised that Hallmark went to all the expense to do that huge wedding at the end, because they really didn't need to. Like, the plot of the story had basically finished. And I was like, that was a lot of added expense, but it was so fun and so nice. What was that like to shoot?
Like, and again, I applaud Hallmark for deciding that here's another culture that we can expose more people to. And even though we talked about Indian matchmaking and South Asian matchmaking throughout, and so you got to see a little bit of the culture and, the prayer room, and there were lots of little beats. Without the big wedding at the end, you would have felt, I think, a little bit like, oh, I didn't get all the awesomeness that can be in this. So I'm so glad they did it. I loved it. Like Rishi Kota, the lead male, and Rekha Sharma, who played his mom, they had just the most beautiful scene in a prayer room talking about the dad that passed away. And, I love reading different things from people that watch Hallmark. And I swear what I feel great about to this day is when someone said that they thought it was the best mother-son moment they ever saw on the network. And that's because these two actors just brought it so beautifully. And the decorator, the production designer did a phenomenal job. And then costumes at the wedding those were such
Amazing. Yeah.
beautiful costumes at the wedding. So that was by far, it's one of my, I have a few kind of favorites. I mean, they're all your children,
Yeah.
but that for sure is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And the script was phenomenal. A great South Asian, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Well, Return to Sender is definitely it's probably my favorite that you have made. And I do think it's one of the more underrated movies of last year because unfortunately, at least here in the States, it was released, I think it was in November or the very end of October. And so everybody was already in Christmas mode. Everybody was and so it just kind of got lost, I think. And it was so good. It was so like I loved all of the romances and everybody was so charming in it. And
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And we had Maddie on for our patron watch along, and we watched
Oh,
yeah, and she's a delight. And it was her first lead. So
yes.
tell me the backstory about how that all happened, because it was originally gonna be a series, is that right?
Yeah, it was what they call a backdoor pilot. So it's do a
Uh-huh.
movie, and if the movie resonates, then let's turn it into a television series
Oh
because
man.
it had that mystery component to it as well as the romance. So it's like
I
mystery
think it could
romantic.
have. I
I know.
think that Return to Sender was better than the Signed Sealed Delivered movie last year. Like I really do. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that.
It was called Three Letters, I think was the Signed Sealed Delivered. And I think this was better and very similar in structure
Yeah.
to a signed,
Yes.
with the letter and looking to do it and
Yeah.
everything. And it kind of made me laugh that like the big dream is like wanting to be an accountant. I mean, like, is that anybody's like there's a lot of great accountants, of course, but like it's
Totally.
usually not like a dream, it's like this is a
Yeah.
practical, you're gonna do
Yes.
this will be a good career. Great, but not like
You're like dream bigger,
you know.
bigger. Yeah, very much so. Again, it's one that has my heart, and you're
Yeah.
exactly right. In the States, which is where it was important for it to do well, it was
Darn.
literally the last movie they programmed pre-Christmas programming on the network, and the very next day they programmed Christmas, and so they never reran it again. It only had the one shot. So kudos to everybody that worked so hard. The cast was amazing. The
Man, I
crew,
wish we could get a try again.
I
Like if it
know,
came
a
out
do-over
now,
button.
like
Yeah.
really, I feel like, man, it makes me want to talk to Chrissy over there at Up, because I really feel like if it came out now, like in May or June, or like, you know what I mean? Like another time
Yeah.
where it didn't have that kind of competition, I really feel like people will like it.
Well, I think you should talk to
I
Chrissy.
will. I'll talk to her. Not that I mean I have no say over any of this, but
Hey.
like I just really liked it a lot. I thought it was
Thank
very, very charming. I liked all the storylines. I mean,
Yeah.
and especially because a lot of times, you might not know this, but a lot of times on these rom-coms, podcasters are sort of painted in a villainous light.
Oh,
Like we're
my.
kind of portrayed as sort of being gossips or like not that, not that
Yeah.
trustworthy. And so to have this cute little friends to lovers
Yes.
little
Yes.
story, I thought was so fun and so cute. And the thing that I think worked so well about the friends to lovers is that like once it was out there and it took so much guts for him to put it out there, it's over. Like you can't go back.
You can't unring that bell.
No, you can't unring that bell. So that like that unease was so fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I thought he played it so well. Like his face would. It's funny. I've said before to actors who I really admire, I'm like, you give great face, and I'll never forget one of them. It might have been Rachel Boston, and she was like, "You mean I?" Because not all actors are as cognizant of what their face does, and I love an expressive face, and that's what he was so good at his face and his eyes, saying words that we never had to say because he lived it on his face.
Well, and she's like worried about like, oh, it's gonna ruin it's already that's done.
It's done.
Over.
You're so right. You're so smart. And Sophia, this was one of her very first shows she'd ever done in her whole life. And she was like you could just see her growth. Like I was so proud of how well she did, and gorgeous, gorgeous girl as well, but also just had it. And like you say, Maddie was great. Markian, one of my favorite, like
Yes.
such a strong, and then Sydney and Michael, like, yeah, great cast.
Well, and she was telling us that I guess in the little bit more sentimental, a little bit cheesier parts, that he was like, don't fight it. Lean into it. And I'm like, yes, he gets it. That's why he's so good. He
really does. You know what was funny though? What I loved about Maddie and Markian is like she took she took her leadership role seriously. She was always prepared. Markian's just like, hey, let's have some fun. And so the two of them together were priceless. And then, because sometimes he would just be having a good time, and I'm like, we need to shoot the movie. And and then Maddie would say, yeah, we're ready. So
but that kind of fits their characters though.
Really does. It was like the best summer camp ever, and the production company was fantastic and so generous and wonderful, and Amar, Ben, and Ross, I love them, and our DP Jay Kamal, so great. And Jay and I had worked together as well on a Hallmark show, a movie called A Splash of Love, that we shot out on the water, and so it was so great to be reunited with him and his team again. And like you say, it did not get picked up for a series, but man, we had a good time trying.
It was a really good one. I really enjoyed it a lot.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Hey, this is David from the Piecing It Together podcast, a podcast about movies and the movies that inspire them. For over 4 years, each week, a guest and I take a look at a new movie through the lens of what other movies we think were either an influence or connect in some other way. It's a fun, unique way to discuss films that leads to a great list of other movies to check out that either explore the same themes and ideas or maybe utilize similar filmmaking techniques. Including special episodes in our side series that twist the format, we've done over 200 episodes, so there's bound to be one on a film you've been thinking about and want to dig deeper into. So check us out on all the major podcasting apps and at piecingpod.com.
So you also had Confessions of a Christmas Letter. Yes. Now, speaking of leaning into the comedy, this definitely leaned into the comedy, got pretty madcap there. And we kind of joked on the podcast that this writer, he unknowingly had entered a cult. Is a Christmas cult. And by the end, he was just like worn down. He's like, okay.
I'll wear the darn onesie. I'm in.
Which was really funny.
Yes, we leaned maybe too far into the wildness of it all, but it's like, if you're gonna go.
I enjoyed it because
you gotta try.
Yeah, because we have so many. It was fun to have something that was a little cuckoo, mixed into the movies. I wouldn't want every Hallmark movie to be like this, but mixed in.
Mixed in, it was fun. And having Angela Kinsey as the lead was like, she's comedic royalty, coming from The Office. And then the gentleman who played her husband was on a show here in Fred, you want to check on a show here in Canada called Corner Gas, which was very funny and ran for a long year. So I felt like I kind of had Canadian and American royalty on this show. So we leaned into all of it, with mixed results, but we had fun and we tried, and that's all you can do. And it's an adorable story. And, we set cinnamon buns on fire. So it's fun. Yes.
Yeah. I had fun with it. I did you order the onesies, or did you have them custom made?
So we ordered them, like they were out there in real life, and we had a phenomenal wardrobe guy, Vlad, and his team is fantastic, and they found a whole bunch of onesies, and then we saw this one, and the executive producers, Robin and Kim and me, immediately were like, that one, that's great. And then we ordered a whole bunch in a whole bunch of different sizes. I mean, what I love about that show is if people watched past the first sort of 5 or 10 really madcap minutes, it was such a beautiful, heartfelt change that she had made by the end, that the mom had made by the end when she wrote her own Christmas letter. And that's what a lot of the fans said too. They're like, no, stick with it because I cried at the end. And we had a beautiful time shooting that sort of ending as well, with her reading the letter and stuff. So I love the movie, but it definitely has its moments. And that outfit. Wow. We'll never forget those pajamas, man. Ever.
Yeah. And like, I mean, just like welcoming everybody into the family too. It was like a very cozy movie in that way.
Yeah.
And
his grandfather and uncle was also everybody come. Yeah.
Well, in the rivalry with the neighbor.
Yes. Yes. And I thought the neighbor played that so well, like just the right amount of, HOA kind of snobbery. Not that everybody in an HOA is not. Lots of people are great, but we all know the odd one that's like, yeah.
So did you
fun.
allow Angela to like improv much?
I sometimes wish we had done more of that, but we were kind of tight for time with all the people that were there. So once in a while there was sort of an opening up and do what you want. And she always brought something adorable when she did that. But the bulk of it was definitely from the script by two amazing sisters.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a preference of shooting Christmas or non-Christmas, if you could pick?
Yeah, it's a great question. I used to always prefer non-Christmas because I didn't love having to look at a street and go, okay, that's the wrong tree, so I can't shoot in that direction. And how much snow are we going to need here? And so, but now I embrace it as one more piece of a really fun puzzle. So now it's kind of the heartfeltness of Christmas I still love, but I'm never going to not love all the other ones. So I used to prefer the others, and now it's kind of at a dead heat. So we'll see what happens going ahead.
Yeah. Well, you've done some films that were international films, like Scottish Love Scheme, and what's that like to shoot in another country?
It's a 10 out of 10. Like, the producer on that one is Scottish, Jenny Bainham from Studio BRB. And so she had the idea. She went to a writer. She found a writer. She worked on the script. She pitched Hallmark. And Hallmark said yes to it. I've known Jenny actually worked on Love It or List It as well. So I've known Jenny for a lot of years. And my family comes from Scotland. Like Hawthorne's my middle name, and so it's the Hawthorne side that came from Scotland, and my grandfather on my dad's side, and no one had been back in like 90 years. And so it was amazing to be able to go back to Scotland. But like, we took nobody with us. Like, it was me, Jenny, her associate producer, and then Erica Drance, who's the female lead. We went, and everybody else was from Scotland. So all the actors, the camera people, everything. And it was a joy. And what's amazing is we had the choice of a few directors of photography. And there was one, and they were like, maybe he's a man of a certain age, so he might be a little bit crotchety. But decide if you. And so I talked to him, and I just fell in love with him. And he was an amazing man. And talented. He had shot Sense and Sensibility, I think it is, and was Academy Award nominated for it.
Oh my gosh.
And he shot 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I'm like, bring on your crotchetiness to be able to work with someone. And of course, he was never crotchety. That's why I'm always like, people say things about working with people, and I'm like, you have to find out for yourself, because he was amazing. And then his son is like one of his camera people, and his brother is a dolly grip, and the entire family is stunning. And I love that movie. That movie will always hold a special part in my heart because of shooting in Scotland, and like every building was amazing. And when we first did our looking for locations, we knew we were going to be inside a house. We knew we were going to be in a kitchen. And I'm like, it has to be a kitchen I can't find it in North America.
Yeah.
And then the locations people found, just a a phenomenal house that had a little staircase that came down, and it had the different kinds of stoves than what we normally see. It's magical. I love that show.
What's that like when you finally get to see the completed film? You got the music in, you've got the, all that stuff, the visual effects, everything, and you see it, and it's like, oh, you just come together when you've seen all the pieces.
Yes, it's amazing. Once in a blue moon, did we mean to do that? But and never all the way through, but just sometimes there's one little, you're like, oh. But for the bulk of it,
I get that.
It's joyful. And what was amazing, like with a movie like A Scottish Love Scheme, Jenny and her partners actually rented a movie theater in Vancouver and brought like the Post folks who had come from Canada and the people from her place and, friends and family. And we got to do a screening on a big screen and cool. Hear the reactions. And then Angela Kinsey did the same thing in Los Angeles when we had Confessions of a Christmas Letter. And that was like a packed little theater in Los Angeles, and friends and family and the folks from Hallmark who were so amazing. And I cannot tell you how fabulous it is to hear laughter, to hear the joy. With the Scottish Love Scheme, there was like and like some tears, and so and then with Confessions, there was laughter. So hearing that reaction live in a big screen is unforgettable, like wonderful.
Yeah, it's such a fun experience to watch a rom-com with a crowd. That's why it's so sad that it is. I mean, I think by far more than any other genre, it has been relegated to streaming. Like I mean, every once in a while you'll have something that comes out that's to the theaters, but not very often. And it's such a shame because it really adds to the experience. So the laughing together, this being spooning together, like it's just,
I know,
makes me sad.
I know. There's one out now that I haven't seen yet. It's Netflix, and it's the 4 stories, like Tina Fey's in it.
Oh yeah, the 4 seasons. Yeah,
the 4 seasons, and I'm like, that would have been amazing on a big screen, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or like last year, I can't think of the name of it, but the one with Anne Hathaway and the rock star. So I got to see it on the big screen because I'm a critic, and so I was able to see it at a critic screening. And it was so fabulous. Fun to be with a crowd and see it. I'm like, people are missing out so much. It just feels like I don't understand it, because I mean, they're cheap comparatively to make, and they have been, some of the romances have been some of the most successful films in the history of Hollywood. So it feels like the risk is worth the reward. I mean, if you can have a Pretty Woman, a Ghost, The Notebook, I mean, some of the most profitable movies ever made. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, like,
yes,
it's frustrating. So maybe
I
don't get it.
Our business is cyclical, right? So our business goes up and down, and different things are sort of flavor of the month, and definitely sort of horror is playing well on the big screen right now. And so a horror movie will get in earlier. Hopefully at some point in time. I mean, I know it's doing well for the streamers, but it's like, let us do a big in a real movie theater for the first year, and then go to streaming or something. Like, it's not like we want to take it away, but let us. Yeah.
It's just tricky because I just feel like if you're a woman who wants sweet romance, you just have to watch Hallmark. I mean, that's nowhere else.
And not a bad thing. Yay, Hallmark.
No, I mean, I love Hallmark, obviously.
But you're right. It's that combination of, we should be able to see it in lots of places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should be able to see it more. And I think on the big screen, it's nice to do these family friendly movies too, because it's nice to go to a movie, and the romance is there, and it's adorable, and it's not, over the top for what you want to see with your kids. So I'm with you. Let's do more on the big screen.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hearty, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
We like to end our interviews with some fun, get to know you questions. So first
Okay.
one, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Chocolate chip.
Nice. What's your favorite color?
I'm gonna say purple. It used to be burgundy, and now I think I'm full on purple.
Oh, yeah, purple's mine too. All right, what music are you into?
Pop. I'm a pop girl. A
Okay.
little bit of like pop or country, but country pop
Okay.
is also a thing. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, what is your go-to date night food?
It's so funny. It's a great question. I'm gonna say, geez, date night is so tough. I'm like, I've been a long time married. Not that we don't do dates, but I'm like, what's our, but like at home, he'll make fajitas and then we'll watch a rom-com. So that's kind of a great, so I'm gonna say
that's
fajitas. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I mean, I always say you wanted something that has limited mess. Like, I don't want to get anything.
I know.
No,
And a fajita is very messy. Like sometimes I have like, paper towels everywhere, but like he loves me. He's stuck with me. I'm in.
There was a Hallmark movie the other day where there was a date and the guy took the date to get ribs. I'm like, I can't think of a worse food for a date.
Literally, and then I get it stuck in my teeth, and I'm like, that's not
so
pretty.
terrible.
That's not, even if I'm with like a friend, I don't want ribs stuck in my, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you good for you to catch that. Not a great date food.
No. So what is your go-to date night activity if you're going out doing something?
Yeah, we do a lot of movies. So like we like going to a film is really fun. And then a walk either before or after.
Be nice. We always say that you want to make sure that you do the movie and you don't do dinner in a movie, do movie and dinner.
Yes.
So you can talk about the movie.
Have something to talk about just in case.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, I feel like for somebody who's a new person that you're trying to get to know, you can tell a lot and be like, "Ooh, you responded that way to that character. That's concerning." Like,
so smart. So smart, because they don't have to 100%. My whole thing is like, just be smart about it. Like, you don't have to 100% agree with me. Just have a take that's interesting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Well, and the other thing too is that my recommendation, if somebody asked me what's the ideal date movie, I think you should go see something that's like a little bit scary, but not like murder or like horror, horror. Just like, there's this movie called Crawl. Did you ever hear this movie Crawl?
No.
Crocodiles. So it's really fun. It's this crocodile movie and it has like lots of fun little like jumps, but nothing like murdery or, scary.
Yeah.
And I think Crawl is the ideal date movie because you don't want to go to like a rom-com. So that's like too awkward, like too pressure. Right?
Yes.
So if you go see Crawl, then you can like be a little cozy if you want, if you're feeling it, right? And you can just kind of laugh together and have like fun, but nothing like traumatizing.
I'm gonna agree with you and also offer up Scream. Any of the Scream movies. Because it's a little romantic, but it's a little scary, and a little funny, so it'll kind of give you a smorgasbord of all of it. Yeah, I gotta check out Crawl.
Yeah, another one that's a little more murdery, but still, I think Happy Death Day, I think is kind of in that camp too, a little bit. Like,
I love you say murdery. That's so great. Yeah.
Well, you don't want anything like too dramatic, but that's my philosophy on movie dates.
That's great. I'm gonna go see Final Destination 6. I'm not sure it's a movie date, but I'm gonna go.
So scary.
Yeah, I know the folks who directed it. So I'm
Oh, you
like
do?
so excited to
Oh
see
my
their
gosh.
masterpiece. And it looks
Yeah.
very, very, yeah, I think it's going to have everything it should.
I think I probably will see it. I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to horror, but I do see quite a few. But man, that ice scene in the trailer, I was just like,
Literally. And my husband doesn't like he doesn't like scary movies and stuff. Like that's why I'm such a fan of Scream, because it was the first sort of scary movie that he would see and he really
yeah.
enjoyed it. So he's coming to Final Destination 6 with
Oh
me,
my
and I'm
gosh.
like, no shame if you need to look away. No shame, no problem. You do you. I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh. Like I cannot wait to see
I figure
bludgeoning everywhere.
I have to see it because I had such a like visceral response to that trailer. Like it was just like, ah.
That's so, and I love the
Yeah.
fact that like rom-coms is our heart and romance is our heart.
Yeah.
Let's go check out Final
Yeah. You
Destination
gotta see
6.
it all.
Like, just be
Yeah.
open to it all.
Absolutely. That's what I think. Well, all right. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
Doggies.
Okay. Which do you like better, beaches or mountains?
Beaches. I'm a water girl forever.
Me too. Yeah, we're definitely on the
Yay.
same page for that. All right. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas
It's hard to
forever.
beat Christmas because it's like a whole season.
It's a whole, and I'm one of those like November 12th, like Remembrance Day. We love you. Thank you for your service. And bam, I'm 100. And
Yeah.
it used to be like, a week or two before Christmas. Then it was December 1st. And now
Yeah.
it's November 12th.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
I mean, my life,
And
I
think
start thinking, I mean, I never stopped thinking about Christmas with my life, but I mean, we do all of our previews for the season. Those are in October, so it gets real early.
Yes, and
Wild.
they've got Christmas in July, so you're probably all Christmased out
Yeah.
in
Oh
July.
yeah.
You have such a fascinating, like, I want to know about you. You have such a fascinating, life doing this. What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is honestly the interviews and talking to people. I really do love getting to know people and making new friends yeah, that's, I mean, and I love film and I also review theater. So I just love that experience of seeing something exciting and fun
me too.
And wanting to tell somebody about it. And because you're a podcaster, it's like, well, you got all these people you can tell about it, which is great. And I do love finding something that I think is special and being the person that, because sometimes as a critic, you can kind of be portrayed and even feel a little bit the villain because you're critiquing, you're like, these people put their heart and soul into it, and you try to be as respectful as you can. You try to be as kind as you can, but like, just, I'm not going to like everything, and but sometimes you can feel almost like the villain, the villain of the arts, the critic, but when you can find something that you're the one that gets to champion, and you can kind of, that is the best. And especially if it's like something like Return to Sender, or I really loved a little movie called Mixed Baggage in 2023 that was so good, so well made. I absolutely adored it. And I ended up interviewing the writer. I ended up interviewing most of the cast, and I knew, I pretty much almost anybody who I know who watched that movie watched it because I was like, watch it, and they all loved it. And so when you can have that kind of an experience, it's so gratifying, and it really makes you feel good. So that's definitely like my favorite part is when you can kind of be a champion, an advocate for something.
Yes. Well, you're doing good work. And I hear you on that, because not everybody's going to like everything. And, I take that, like, I do read comments and stuff like that, but I also know we tried our buns off for each thing that we do. And so it's like, I try to take it in, because if you're going to take the compliment, I'm like, you also have to take the not compliment and like learn from it for the next time. But just know that if you did the best work you can and your team did the best work they can, then we can walk away happy with that. And, when someone is a champion of something that maybe didn't get seen enough, like a Return to Sender, yay for that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
And I know how it feels because I get all kinds of feedback on the podcast. You know, there's some people I've had some eviscerations on the podcast, which, you know, that's just their opinion, and that's fine. And you know, it's all part of the learning experience. Like, it's all, I don't improve if I am not open to you know, all different opinions. Each their own, as they say.
Each their own. My older son, when he was younger, had a phrase he would always use when someone would say something that was just unkind for no good reason or whatever, and he'd just go, "They're so pretty. They're just pretty. We'll just let them be pretty in their own special way," because it takes it away from being something mean, and you're kind of doing something. Oh, you're pretty. Yeah. Maybe you aren't as intelligent as you would like to be, but you're pretty.
Yeah, that's a good way to just, you know, find the thing you can learn from it, even if it's or just to laugh. You just laugh at it.
Just a laugh. That's nothing better than that.
Well, do you have anything new coming up you can tell us about, or anything you can tease us with?
No, not in the Hallmark movie world. I'm about to start on a wonderful show that I can't talk too much about, but it's special, and
series.
And it has some folks that are autistic and on the spectrum and differently abled, and gives a phenomenal platform, and so I'm excited to start working on that.
That will be great. Yeah. Well, last question is, what's your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so good. Well, it's funny, you know, in a recent sense, the first time I saw Three Men and a Baby, or Three Wise.
Oh, Wise Men.
Hallmark.
Yeah. Right.
I just thought I was like, how is that not? That's just such an adorable movie. Back in the day, Three Men and a Baby with Tom Selleck in them, I also thought was great. Yeah. So loved all of that. So I think it's that kind of a thing, because I love kids. I'm like, anything that has something with kids in it. And I'll also say my next movie, which I don't have yet, will be number 20. So I'm super looking forward to movie number 20.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. Well, very good. It was awesome to get to talk with you and meet you, and we'll definitely have to keep in touch, keep us informed on the new projects and everything. And if people want to follow you on like social media, stuff like that, how do they do that?
Instagram is probably best. I'm at HHDTVIS, I believe. HHDTV is. I'm on TikTok, but I just watch other people's stuff. Okay. So Instagram is best. And I gotta thank you, Rachel. I've enjoyed our time together so much. I have listened to many of your podcasts, so I enjoy hearing things. And what's funny too is every so often, like, I don't have time to listen to it, and I just go onto the transcript part, and I like quickly read through, and I'm like, oh, that was fascinating. So I'm like, yay to you for doing so much work. And I don't know if you know how many podcasts you've done, but you guys have done so many podcasts.
Yes,
we have done so many episodes. So
yes,
super yay.
We are. Thank you. Yeah, we are. I think we're getting somewhere. I think we have over 2,500 episodes of the podcast. Yeah. So
I'm like,
it's a lot.
Excited about movie 20, and you guys are like, yeah. So I have 2,500 podcasts. Thanks for coming, Heather. Yeah. No, this has been really wonderful. Thanks for taking the time, and it's just been so much fun getting to know you a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, let us know if you're listening, what you think of all the things we talked about. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. Follow us there. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. Especially, we sometimes get those mean reviews. So put in those positive reviews on iTunes. It really helps the algorithm and helps us a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer and closer to 10K subscribers on YouTube every day. So please, please, please help us make that goal. And we have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support everything we're doing. You get to be part of watch-alongs like we did with Maddie, with Return to Sender, and other cool perks, bonus episodes, and additional early episodes, things like that. So check it out. And then we have our merch store. We have tons of fun designs, Hallmark inspired. Check that out. And thanks so much, Heather. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.